no get money, with your eye go see. Charlie, if you no get money, with your eye go see. If you no get money, with your eye go see. Charlie, if you no get money, with your eye go see. Subscribe anytime of the day.
Yo, what's going on, my G's? Ben Macaulay here, and today I'm going to show you how I mix rap vocals. Specifically, this rap vocal for G Master by my guy, Original Gravity. Yeah, this record is out, by the way. It's part of an EP, amazing songs, all mixed and mastered in stereo and Dolby Atmos by yours truly in the Atmos Room by Ben Macaulay. Basically, I'm going to be walking you through my process and show you how I took this vocal from this.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
To this.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they pay me money. I been on my leg walk, on my network, or the talk with.
My philosophy for mixing vocals in general is simple. You fix problems first, and then you start to shape the tone of your vocal. And one of the first problems I encountered with this particular recording was clipping. Vocal was recorded too loud, so it was clipping. Let me show you what that looked like.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
So if you look down at the meter here, you can see that we are clipping really hard. And I'm also able to see this because I have the pre-fader metering turned on. The pre-fader meter shows you the actual level of the signal before any processing. That's how I'm able to see this. If I turn the pre-fader off, for example,
I want to be happy like Pokoli.
You'll see that it's showing us that we're hitting a peak level of minus 12 dB, and you would think, oh yeah, I have enough headroom to work with, but you don't. And that's why you need to turn on the pre-fader metering so you can see the actual level of the signal before any processing. So the very first plugin I use is this RX10 declip from Isotope. I've set the threshold to like minus 4 dB. I'm basically using this to shave off some of the peaks so I can reduce the clipping.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
If you look down here, you can see that we have 1,110 clipped intervals repaired. Basically, it does this thing. The effect is subtle but very effective. And then the next plugin I'm using is a gain plugin. Let me quickly mention that I'm putting the declipper and the gain plugin on the actual channel. But the rest of the processing is going to be happening on my lead vocal bus, because after this, I'm going to route the channel to my lead vocal bus. Gain plugin. This is going to help me create good enough headroom for the rest of my mixing process. Because if you do not have enough headroom, no matter the processing you do to your vocal, you're going to end up with shitty vocal at the end of the day. It's that simple. I've set the gain to minus 12 dB, and I think this is giving me also a peak level of minus 12 dB. Let's see.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
Right. So that's minus 12 dB. Some people would actually recommend that you reduce your gain to like minus 18 or minus 15. But for this record, minus 12 dB work for me. I have more than enough headroom to do what I want to do. And on the lead vocal bus, the very first plugin that I have on my vocal chain is the NS1 noise suppressor from Waves. So this is to remove some of the noise that exists between the phrases, right? I am not doing so much with this plugin. It's just like very subtle. Let's listen to it before.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me.
Again, very subtle changes because you don't want to affect the quality of the vocal. And mixing is all about making tiny changes that adds up to one dramatic, amazing finished product. So the next plugin on my vocal chain is the FabFilter Pro Q3 EQ. Now this is a dynamic EQ, and I'm using this EQ to remove all of the unwanted frequencies, you know, all of the whistling points and the low frequency below 120 Hz that I don't need. So let's listen to it before.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they pay me money. I been on my leg walk, on my network.
I mean, you can hear that the vocals sound a little bit clearer. I'm going to leave a link here to show you how to do this properly, but it's very important that you do this, because if you don't remove all of the whistling points and annoying frequencies, you would have to deal with them later when you get to your compression stage, right? When you compress, everything will become loud. So that means both the good stuff and the bad stuff. And then the next plugin on my vocal chain is the RDSR. This is to capture sibilance. I've set the DSR to capture sibilance from 4.8K and up. Threshold is minus 45 dB, range minus 15. Before.
I want to be happy like Pokoli, Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club every.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
Right.
Enter the club, everybody know me. If I did that.
Again, the effect is very, very subtle here, right? You don't want to damage the presence that the vocal has, okay? And if you notice, we're getting up to minus 2 dB of attenuation from this setting. And then the next plugin on my vocal chain is the SSL Channel strip. And this is where the shaping of the vocal starts, right? We're done with the problem-solving bit. We have the NS1 for noise. You have the dynamic EQ for annoying frequencies. We have the DSR for sibilance. From here on, we're going to be shaping the tone of the vocal. Now, on this plugin, I'm only going to be using the EQ section. I've done some cuts up to minus 12 dBs around 270 hertz on the low frequency, on the low mid up to minus 9 dB around 890 hertz. And I've set the bell curve to white. On the high mid frequency, I'm doing a cut up to minus 3 dB around 3K. This is usually where there's like harshness in vocals, right? This is very important. And then on the high frequency, I've done a boost up to 9 dB around 16K at the very top of the frequency range for this EQ to get that sheen, that air that you have in modern vocals nowadays. And in case you're wondering why I've done this much cuts in the low and the low mid frequency, that's because this song is very bass heavy. And this recording also is very, very bass heavy. The mic that they use to record the song has a lot of low and low mid. That's why I'm doing that much cut, so I can make sure the vocals sit properly into the beat. So go ahead and make your own adjustment based on what your record needs. Let's just say before.
Sunday to Monday, steady balling.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I
sounds very, very, very controlled and sounds sweet. But you're probably thinking, but it's not loud. Why is it not loud anymore? Well, that's why the next plugin on our vocal chain is a compressor, so you can put back some of that much needed gain. So this is the UAD 1176 compressor. This is one of my favorite compressors for vocals, basically, if not my favorite at this point. And I've set the attack to a relatively slow attack so my transient can cut through. And I've set the release to a very, very fast release. The input and the output are both set to 18, but this is not the common practice. This is just what I needed for this record, right? Sometimes I might set the input to 24 and my output is 18, or I set the input to 18 and the output is 24. Just depends on what the record needs. And also, what I'm doing with this compressor actually is just to mainly tame the peaks. So if we listen to the vocal, you will see that on the quiet parts of the performance, there's almost no compression happening there. Or sometimes there's no compression happening at all. Let's listen to it.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club.
If you look at the meter, where it gets to Pocoli, steady balling, all the quiet parts in the performance, there's no compression happening there.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club.
So we're just using these to mainly tame the peaks. Now, the next plugin on the vocal chain is also a compressor. This is the LA2A. I like to compress in series, so I don't have one compressor handling all of the job. So this compressor is going to even out the performance. It's going to reduce the difference between the very loudest part of the vocals and the quietest part so that everything sounds very, very even. So let's listen to it before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I did dance, they pay me money. I've
set the peak reduction to 50 and the gain also to 50. Again, adjust your settings based on what the record needs. This is what I needed for this record. If you look down here, you see a mix knob. I've also set that to 50-50. So I'm blending the dry signal and the compressed signal from this compressor to do a bit of a parallel compression, basically. And now the next plugin on my vocal chain is the Pro MB multiband compressor by FabFilter. Think of a multiband compressor like a DSR. It's like having DSR multiple times. A multiband compressor is a compressor and an EQ. And I'm using it to tame different frequency range in the vocals. For example, as you can see, I'm doing a lot of multiband compression around the low frequency because, like I said, this beat is very bass heavy and the recording as well is bass heavy. So I've done that to make sure that the vocal blends properly with the beat. Also, I need to mention that when you're doing the adjustment, you have to make sure your beat is playing so you can see how everything blends together, right? So let's listen to it before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I did dance, they spend me money. I've been on my leg walk. On my
song is very, very nice. And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I did dance, they spend me money. I've been on my leg walk, on my network, or the talk way from my mouth and call back in the.
You can hear how it sounds a lot better. The vocal feels like it's sitting in the beat, but still has presence. I've set the attack to fast attack, fast release for I think all of the bands here. Again, this is what I felt like the record needed. For some records, I would set the release to be a slow release, right? So that the compressor can hold on to that frequency range a little bit longer, especially for songs like maybe like my piano. For songs that have very high energetic low frequencies, for example, I usually set the release for the multiband compression of the low frequency to slow so that the multiband compressor would hold on to the low frequency on the vocal a little bit more so that they're not competing with the beat. That's it. For the rest of them, yeah, fast attack, fast release. This one I have a hard knee. This one I have a soft knee. So that transition between the uncompressed to compressed is smooth, right? On the low mid frequency, I've set the knee to a hard knee. So, you know, the transition is going to be very, very quick. Bang, 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 right? Same with the high mid. And for the high frequency, I set the knee to a soft knee. The range here is minus 3.8, almost minus 4 dB. This is minus 3.7. This is minus 3. Right. So don't be afraid to experiment and see what works for your record. I think the most important thing here is to remember that the multiband compressor works like a DSR, right? For different frequency range in your performance. All right. So the next plugin on my vocal chain is a DSR. I'm using this to capture all of the sibilants that have built up due to all of the processing that we've done. Usually that happens, right? So let's listen to it before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my network, or the
After.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my network, or the talk way from my mountain call. Back in the day, Charlie they jump class, now Charlie be moving.
I mean, you can hear that's like night and day, right? And this is the last plugin on the dynamics side of my vocal chain. This is what I'm using to put that finishing touch to the vocals. I've set the DSR to capture sibilants from 4K up to 9K because I want to still retain the air, right? The sheen in the vocal. I've set the range to about 15 dB and the threshold is minus 40 dB. And this setting might be a bit too aggressive for some, but this is exactly what I thought this record needed. Like I said, always do your setting based on what your record needs, right? Use your ears. From here, we're going to move on to our sends. So I have 3 sends for the vocals. First send, which is going to my room reverb, and I'm using a Fab Filter Pro R for that. It's basically a short reverb, right? I've set the reverb time, very short reverb time, and short pre-delay time. I'm going to leave a link here on how to calculate those. Basically, I'm just using this reverb to create a bit of cushion in between the vocal and the beat. Let's hear the before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance,
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my
Not a very, very obvious effect, but it creates a bit of depth perception. And then the next boss on my vocal chain is to the main reverb. I'm using the H reverb from Waves for this one. Put in the correct reverb time and the pre-delay time. The rest of the setting here I've just left to 50-50, pretty much. Dry and wet, 50-50. Output is about, 50. The early reflection / still I've also set to about 50. This is before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance,
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my network, or the talk way from my mountain call. Back in the
And then the last send on this vocal chain is to the delay boss. For the delay, I'm using the Comeback Kit by Baby Audio. If you don't know by now, this is one of my favorite delays for vocals. And I've set this to a quarter note delay, ping pong, straight. There's a ducker feature here that I like that ducks the delay while the vocal is playing. This is before.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club.
And then after.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend.
So some of you might have noticed that there was no delay. And some of you probably did not notice. Well, there's no delay, right? I did not send any signal to my delay bus for the lead vocals. For rap especially, you don't necessarily need delay all the time, except you really, really need it. And for this record in particular, the reverb is actually creating that delay effect with the reflections. If you listen to the vocals with the reverb on, you can hear there's a little bit of a slapback type of delay effect that is coming from the decay of the reverb.
I want to be happy like Pocoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my net.
right? So you can hear it. So again, for rap vocals, you might not need the delay, especially on the lead vocals, because the lead is like bang, bang, bang. There's a lot of words going on, right? So you don't necessarily have space to fit in delays in between. Again, that's just me. You might want your delay regardless. So that's that for the lead vocals. Now on the backup vocals, that's where I have the delays and reverb, because they are punches, right? So there's free space in between the vocals for the delay to sit, basically. So let's listen to the verse with the backups on.
I want to be happy like broccoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my net talk. All the talk way from my mountain call. Back in the day, Charlie, they jump class, now Charlie be.
Right. I also have more reverb on the backups, as you can hear. And I'm actually using a second reverb for that, which is the FireFilter Pro R, right? I have a second reverb bus I usually call very big reverb. So that's where I have a much bigger reverb with a much bigger decay time and everything. So if I want to make something sound very big, that's where I send it to. So that's it, really. That's everything I've done for the vocals for this record. The G Master EP is actually out, by the way. I'm going to leave a link below so you guys can go ahead and stream it. It's actually a very fun project, and I had fun working on this. Meanwhile, before I go, let me show you guys one quick thing, because I was with somebody that day and he was like, how did you do that? So there's this auto strip feature in Logic that I like so much. I think saves me a lot of time. Like, for example, let's look at this vocal. You can see that there's a lot of dead spaces. Now, instead of going in and just clicking and cutting, you can actually save yourself a little bit more time by just going Control and X. Voila. Now Logic is going to automatically strip out the silence. You also have some amazing features here, like the pre-attack time, so you can set where you want the strip to begin and where you want the strip to end. You can also set the minimum time to accept a silence. You can also set the threshold. Bro, endless possibilities to make sure you get the precise cut for your vocals. And if we click OK, bang, you see, Logic has done it for us. Yeah, man, so I hope you picked something from this that you can actually use in your next mix. And if you did, make sure you leave me a like and subscribe if you're not. And if you want to book my services for mixing and mastering in stereo and Dolby-Atmos, link to the engineer's profile is down there below. If you've not streamed my EP Project-Atmos, I'm going to also leave link down below. And I made a Logic Pro recording template with a free Afrobeat vocal preset for, you know, upcoming producers and artists that only have Logic Pro, because all of the plugins in the template are stock plugins. So you only need Logic Pro and you are good to go. I'm going to leave the link below so you can go ahead and download that and have some fun. Also, you can now join groups on my YouTube channel. So if you'd like to support me so I can continue to dish out jams, click on the join button down in the video. It's going to be everywhere in the channel. I have 3 membership packages that you can join. There's the Atmos Room C, Atmos Room B, Atmos Room A. And with the Atmos Room A, you get everything that comes with the Atmos Room C and B package, plus 5 beat or full song mixing and mastering review from me monthly. Yeah, man. So if you'd like to support me, please join the Atmos Room gang, and let's all be great in 2024. So yeah, man, that's going to be for now. Benny Macaulay out.
I want to be happy like broccoli. Sunday to Monday, steady balling. Enter the club, everybody know me. If I dey dance, they spend me money. I been on my leg walk, on my net talk. All the talk way from my mountain call. Back in the day, Charlie, they jump class, now Charlie be moving in AG class.